Hey guys, welcome back for another episode. And I am the Earth Grid Rescue Mission. Today's a really special episode. I just want to start by saying before I introduce my guest, we all have those people that come into our lives that they become instantly like best friends to us. We feel like we've known them forever. We feel like we see the parts we like in ourselves in these people. And the two people I'm about to bring up, those are two people that have come into my life that are exactly this to a T. You'll know Don Rogers. He's my co-host over at March 4th Productions. And his interdimensional exit buddy, Kyla Spinja. What? I'm so glad that they're both here today. So let me bring them on the stage. Hey guys, all the way in Canada. How are you guys doing?
Hey guys, Canada, damn.
What I sound like? Well, I'm in the South, so it's more like this. Ding, 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 ding. You can hear the crickets play the banjos here at night if you listen well enough.
That's a South Park reference. The Canadians.
Hey, Carrie. I'm going to give everybody a minute to catch up. A minute ago, the computer was on fire and I was trying to find my head to put it back on my body. But these two were cool as cucumbers. So now that the crisis is over, we can sit back, relax, and just have a normal conversation. It's a perfect Monday, though. What can I say?
Absolutely. No, thank you so much for having us. I literally just got home from work, but I was looking forward to this because, when I had you on my show, there's something about once our conversations get going, the way you break things down and the understanding that I'm able to pull into, it just really kind of flows together. And that's why we came up with the idea of what we're going to do next Monday, which is fourth level conversations, which I'm really looking forward to. I think we're going to jump into some time dilation stuff. I actually have some clips of Raynetta and Spinja when we were talking about time dilation before Raynetta passed. So I'm going to bring those up on the show as well. So we can all kind of have the same conversation, just Raynetta is no longer with us. So we're going to be able to do that together.
Wow. I didn't even have a chance to tell you this yet. So I've been doing this deep dive on Boulder, which you know about, because you have been, just like you said a moment ago, we start these conversations, right? Like, you are like the glue that helps me pick out those missing pieces that without them, you don't have the whole picture, right? And we're really good at bouncing information off of each other. And I literally discovered while I was in the middle of this deep dive on Boulder that NASA is funding DARPA labs there, and they are running a time dilation between the technology, between the ley line energetic infrastructure of like the mountains and the what's called the Red Rocks Amphitheater, which it's an outdoor amphitheater that they do these like 8 to 10 hour shows at with laser lights. And the technology with the acoustics, with the energy of the land is creating a time dilation in Denver and Boulder. So I guess I should say get out of my head, Dawn. Of all the things you could have started with, time dilation, right? Those are the most common words of the day. Not at all.
Yeah.
So this is why I think we do shows together, because we just kind of bounce off each other so well. And there's so many synchronicities that happen in our conversation. And Kyla, she's like amazing. Like, she helps us bridge those gaps. She's the one that keeps us, I think, grounded while we're spinning like this. She's the one that's lassoing and tethering us in.
Oh, absolutely.
I've been training for this. I started out with a I raised a fourther, so I gave birth to a fourther. So I'm in it.
Yeah, that's why I was telling you before the show. Like, we coined the phrase. It's a fourther thing. Like, me and my stepson are so telepathically connected. It's ridiculous. Like, we've fallen asleep having naps midday at the same time, and he's heard me talk to him while we're sleeping, to the point where he'll hear my voice, wake up, come to our bedroom door, and realize I'm sleeping too, and that we were communicating. We saw an alternate version of me one day. We were so close to another timeline that there was a parallel me kind of glitching through our reality. I was sitting right where I am now. I had my head down because I was getting ready for a show. William was in the kitchen doing dishes, and What I thought was Kyla walked past, like where William's drum set is, behind William and down the hall. And then I cleared my throat, and William's like, "That wasn't you?" I was like, "No, I thought that was your mom." And he's like, "Mom's in the bathroom." And I'm like, "Then that was me." Like we were doing the same thing, and a different timeline of me got up, split off, walked down the hall, and everybody in the house witnessed it.
Hi, welcome to the weird.
Yeah, like there was an astral projection of myself that got up and did something different in our freaking house.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so two things. I don't want to forget them. One, I have to tell you about the dream. And two, okay, so Aaron and I, when we first got together, I moved from my apartment into his house. And it was the two of us, and he bought this house. It's like a 5-bedroom house, and it was just us two. And the house was haunted. And he had seen like an astral version of his ex-wife one night sitting up. He thought that she was sitting up sleeping, and put his hand to lay her back down on the pillow. It was an apparition. So when I moved in, there was a little girl who would jump rope in the closet. There was an old man who had passed previously that had been a homeowner there. He didn't pass in the house, but his remnants were there. And then there was something else very creepy. Okay, so that was what was going on in the house. One night we're asleep. I have one of the most vivid nightmares I've ever had. This is what the nightmare was. I was in this hallway that curved around, and Aaron was behind me. And there was something coming from around that curve towards me that I was terrified of. And I don't know what it was. But it wasn't like a human, right? It was like a poltergeist, and like it was very smoky, and I was scared of it. And it went to it opened a portal, and it went to suck Aaron through. And I pushed Aaron behind me and was like, "You're going to have to get through me to get to him." And so it started trying to pull me through this portal. And Aaron's like holding on to my feet, and I'm like, parallel to the floor, and I'm screaming. And we both woke up screaming at the same time. And we compared notes. We had the same nightmare, except for instead of Aaron being behind me, I was behind him, and he was going through the portal. I've never had a shared dream or nightmare like that before, but it was so vivid that it never left me, and it creeped me out so bad. We got up and left the house at 5 a.m. because I just could not be in there. The energy, the atmosphere was so thick, you could just cut it. So I believe you like that. I believe that you've seen yourself.
There's actually,
sorry, go ahead.
There's actually a couple of places where we can compare notes, and we will get into my awakening, but we're just kind of on a roll here. And you kind of touched on a couple of things. We were just kind of whispering as you were talking. One, we've had the entire house have a visit. All three of us woke up on the lunar eclipse to what sounded like the roof being a Ziploc container, and all three of us woke up at the exact same time with a burst of mountain fresh air oxygen. I've never tasted air this so, I was up in the Rockies, and that's the only place that ever compared to what I tasted. And all three of us sat up in the middle of the night. It was 3 o'clock in the morning to this Ziploc container sound, and bolt upright, all three of us, and just, and for about 15 seconds, I was speaking in a different language. Right? I was like,
we were holding hands.
Right? We woke up holding hands. I was like,
when you woke up?
Yeah. I was uttering complete to me what is gibberish, but it sounded like another language. And she went, "What? What?" When she snapped back out of it, she's like, "What? What? What?" And I went, "What did I just say?" And she's like, "It wasn't even words." And then William's down the hall, and he's like, "Are you guys awake? Did you hear that?" And we were just like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Dude, I know what you mean, because when things like that happen, you're so stunned at first, but you're also shaken at the same time. So whatever the mixture of those two feelings are, but it sits with you, it permeates, and you carry it around with you. You know what I mean? Repeating it in the head, all day long. I've gone through those days at work where I'm on autopilot, but my brain's not there at work. It's stuck in that moment because it's so shocking and so out of touch with reality, right? That it shakes you. That's crazy.
It does.
I believe you. There's a guy named Andrew Basiago whose father was like a scientist. I don't remember what his specialty was, but he worked at like Sandia Labs, and he was part of what they called the Chronovisor. It basically, they would take children and open a portal up and run them through different timelines. And it was children being sent through. And Andrew Basiago, he was, I don't remember his age. He was a very young boy, but he was sent back to like the time where Abraham Lincoln it was the night that he was killed. He was in the movie theater, and they kept sending him in. And every time they would send him in, like sometimes he would see himself, and sometimes like Abraham Lincoln would die. Other times John Wilkes Booth would not get to him successfully. Sometimes somebody different would end up pulling the trigger. And he talked about seeing himself. And it's interesting because I've wondered, we talk about alters or clones. I have a friend who told me she saw one of her alters here on this timeline in this dimension across the street. And she goes, you're not supposed to see them here because it's supposed to be a totally different timeline. But from what I understand, the timeline is like, that bleed through when you get two radio stations, right? They say it's thinner than you can imagine. So what do you think? You think they're alters and clones, or do you think it's like just,
oh dear,
any thought? There's no wrong answers.
There's a lot of thoughts on that one. You actually just hit on something. I think there is an infinitesimal number of timelines, and it's exactly as you're explaining it. It's just like a radio frequency. I've experienced other timelines. I've been to them. I'm pretty sure that there's people that I've met that are probably various versions of self from different timelines that I could tap into, and they could probably tap into mine. Your husband being one of them. Tony Rodriguez, look him up. He looks just like your husband and I, right? There's a reason we all look alike. We are fractalization. Stephen and I are very similar as well, right? We are fractalizations of the same consciousness. Right? We have just been put into, and a lot of the times it is like the similarities between Aaron and I. It's actually even biological. It's not just the earth experiences. It's not just the understanding of reality. It's actually down to even biological that they end up putting us in the same bodies because we're just source consciousness having a biological life experience on an infinitesimal number of planes because we're projecting our own consciousness's frequency onto the biological plane that is Earth, is the entire reality that we're in, right? But we as humans also are we are frequency projectors, and we co-create this reality in real time, right? So what it is us creating our reality and then us creating our reality while we're in it.
Yeah, it's really interesting you say that. So I shared with you guys that there's
she freeze?
Oh,
someone in the chat. There it is. Come on, Carrie. There we go. So she was talking about how the shit's been hitting the fan. And you guys know, because I've shared with you a little bit, like I had a portal open up and some men's underwear the size of a circus tent end up under my bed. And whoever was wearing them must have been driving and hit a deer. And my joke was if I was in a boat under siege and I was going to put up the white flag, this one you could see across an ocean from another continent. It was so big, right? These underwear. And not only that, I've had things moving around my house. I've had things missing. All right. This is not like I put the car keys down or I'm walking around going, as soon as I find the phone, I'm going to leave. Okay. Like, or the glasses are, this is not like this. This is like, things are in places that they never would ever be. Like the trash bags got moved across my couch and the other side of my living room. That's not where I keep my trash bags. And there's a point to this. This is a non-linear story. So on top of that, you mentioned the lunar eclipse. It seems like every time there's something going on with the moon or with like the planets aligning, things get a little, poltergeisty around my house. And the one thing I've noticed this week, like Carrie's comment on the screen, is if I go outside and I ground, things seem like I'm, at least me, the way I'm projecting, and things are more normal. So yesterday I went to a group I had never gone to. The guy is a shaman. His name is Benton, and my friend Jason is the one that pulled me into this group. And the reason why is because earlier in the day I had gone to a energy clearing on Rob's show, Typical Skeptic, with Phil Barrow and David Starr. And basically what I was told is I have this tentacle in my solar plexus. I have been having problems with my throat chakra. They told me I had this like alien tech around my neck. And then there's some kind of entity in my bedroom ceiling because Aaron and I are seeing shadows. We're fighting like crazy in the bedroom. It's creeping me the hell out at night. And not only that, on the back end, I've been doing these research projects and I've been looking into this red eyeball and these mission space patches, which have octopus all over them, right? So this guy tells me last night in this group, I'm giving him the details of what everybody else has kind of told me the situation is. And he's like, oh, it's not AI. Oh, you are projecting. These are your projections, but you think that what you're seeing as your projection is actually an invasion from an outside force. And I was like thinking like, wow, like, so am I the one? Like, I mean, it was just so bizarre, right? I'm 2 for 2 on something I've been looking at constantly. I haven't been grounding or clearing myself out. And of course, the 2 things that are coming in that are negative are octopus-like and a red eyeball-like that I look at on an AI computer. So that's where you took me when you said projection. I'm seeing Kyla's face go. So I want to let you guys speak and tell me, you know, what's resonating with you on this.
One of the things I think that you were hitting on there is something that does happen. We are on a very, the split is happening, and we are exactly on that radio dial that you're talking about, right? We're shifting frequencies and timelines almost constantly. And what you're experiencing are essentially personal Mandela effects, right? You are moving up energetically on up and down on timelines, right? You're like, oh, I'm really upbeat, or me and Aaron are fighting, right? And shit seems to go wrong on this timeline, but it's kind of pumping up on this one, and everything just flows, right? You are literally shifting through the frequencies of your own reality, through your own existences, right? Because you have many existences. You're just this version of your consciousness right now, right? But you can experience many different ones, right? And where you place your emotional frequency is actually kind of the compass that takes you down the direction that you're going, right? So you're sometimes when you shift reality, shit has changed. I can actually show you one in my own life. We have been coming up in the frequency world and feeling much better about our own reality. I noticed in my service truck at work, my knob is now backwards. My heat knob used to go full blast with the air conditioning. It has always gone full blast with the air conditioning. You turn the fan up with the air conditioning. It is now backwards to that. It changed. Like something in my reality. It's a personal Mandela effect. You're going to start seeing them a lot because we, as the ones of us that are accepting the higher vibrational spiritual frequencies that are going on right now, are jumping through timelines. That's why shit's so crazy. That's why shit's so weird, right? We're skipping all over the place like a fucking record. Right? And it's because we're shifting up and down in frequency. We are high vibrational beings that are having this experience in this reality, and we're basically selecting where we're going. It's a choose your own adventure state right now, right? And when you drop yourself back down, you come to the shitty reality. Things go missing, terrible things happen. You can't find your money, you can't find your wallet, you can't find your keys. When you're in the higher one, everything's ticking along, right? We are in a creation state of reality right now, and what we think of, how we feel, and what we're emitting is what we're going to create, right? It's literally what you feed your mind, what you're going to create.
And I've noticed, talking about like personal Mandela effects, like I've noticed at work, like right now and I've got something to tell you about the whole waiting for a bus thing, because it's actually a thing. Sarah, so
no, you're fine.
we're kind of in between, because like for us personally, we're on the brink of something, because there's a couple of substantial monetary amounts that are due to me. my inheritance and the settlement from the truck collision that was not an accident that I was in.
Targeting.
Yeah. And oh yeah, that's a whole other story, but that was not an accident. But anyway, right now I love my work. My workplace sadly is starting to become more and more toxic. And when we talk about the split, that's the evidence. And talking about personal Mandela effects, it's just the tiniest things, and guys, don't discount it. And where I feel like I had proof that I was being dragged down to a lower timeline. There's a coworker that is trying to cause problems for my friend and I. She's looking for some drama. She's got some stuff going on in her personal life, and she's targeting my friend and I. And the really crazy messed up thing is that I don't see this woman. I work on night shift. I only see one coworker. I only have and it's my friend. That's the only person I see because I work the opposite of everybody. And they're still trying to get me in shit. They're still trying to throw me under the bus. So one day last week, the one that's doing the heavy targeting, she's targeting me and my friend. She showed up early and she wasn't supposed to be there. And so, but the odd thing I noticed, she has a clock on her workstation. And I watch when I'm working, I don't bother pulling out my phone. Like, there's no clocks on the wall or anything. You either pull out your phone or have a clock on your station. Well, she has a clock on her station, so I always just check in, right? That night, there was no clock. And
I
then
might lose power.
Yeah,
My internet might go down. Shit.
we saw that.
My whole house just surged. So if it goes down, we'll come back up. Just keep going. Just
Yeah,
keep going.
we'll figure it out. Yeah.
We'll just talk to each other if you go away.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no,
So-
it's just my internet might go down. I have a storm router, but just keep going.
yeah, so anyway, with this clock missing and with her showing up, she just was in full agitator mode. Like, it's and she's becoming unhinged like that, and that's a whole other story. But the clock wasn't there. And then that day, like, shit kind of hit the fan with my friend. I wasn't involved because I see what she's doing to my friend. Like, we're talking like stalker behavior. And so I didn't say anything to the employers. I haven't said anything to anybody. And I went back the next night for my shift. The clock was there. And my friend had asked me, did you talk to the employers? I'm like, no, I haven't said anything to anybody. So basically, on this timeline, things got sorted out. This person, I think they got busted for what they're doing. But with the clock not being there, that was the timeline where my friend and I were just absolutely being targeted and nobody was listening to us.
And you've elevated out of it.
And we both, that was the other thing. Like, my friend, she's a normie. I love her to death, and she's how I keep my foot in the 3D. Like, she keeps me balanced between the two. And so like Dawn said, it was proof, like, we were able to pull ourselves up to a higher timeline. The clock was back.
Hold on a second. Do you need to go?
I don't know. I'm kind of freaking out. It sounds like it's like so loud. I'm sorry, you guys. So I'm in Alabama. We don't normally get tornadoes where I'm at, but it sounds like there's a giant walking through the neighborhood and the power just went out. So give me just 1 second. I'm just gonna put myself on mute. You keep telling the story, okay?
Yeah, we can take the reins, Michelle, until you can come back safely.
Like, yeah, so
go be safe.
Jesus.
I guess we're not supposed to have this conversation. Little too powerful.
No, we're gonna go. We're gonna just keep rocking it. He's never fine.
Okay.
Keep going.
Okay,
No, yeah, I'm sorry. I
we're
didn't
not
scare everybody.
playing to the boss here.
This is- I'm a California girl. All we have there is traffic. Okay. If it rains, nobody can drive. It's like the speed of smell. That's the speed limit when the rain comes down. That's our
Well,
inclement weather.
How about this? If y'all end up going Dorothy mode, aim for Alberta. We'll catch you. It's nice and
Yeah, we
flat
got
here.
you. We'll catch you.
I told you guys, every time I see a broom, I'm like, oh, that's my car that I inherited when a house fell on my sister. And I think it's freaking hilarious. And no one ever laughs at that joke. And I'm over there just cracking
I like
up like, and they're like, I don't get it. And I'm like, never mind. If I explain it to you, it's going to be even more funny for me. And you're going to be looking at me like I'm awkward. You know, it's interesting you said that. The whole situation you just told me about, like, there's so many things that clicked with me. And I'm going to tell you, this girl that I've been talking to online, Channel Love Frequency or Unity Love on Facebook, you guys should go give her a follow. She's a full-on medium. My spirit guides were in her kitchen. She was telling me, like, no wonder you're so hard on yourself. Your spirit guide's in here just frowning and shaking his head with his arms crossed, asking me if I'm paying attention. I have to explain to him we can multitask as humans, right? She was at the grocery store talking to me on speakerphone, and she like remote viewed outside King Supers, and there was like a reptilian that came in, possessed the body of the security guard. And as she went to walk out, her spirit guides were like, take Michelle off speakerphone now. And she was telling me because I wasn't grounding and I was coming out of my body so much that it's like a beacon. Like I might as well just have laser lights up like this over my house, like free loosh, come on in. And basically, so I've been grounding. I really have because of that. Like I went outside barefoot yesterday for like 30 minutes. And I was out there this morning, but somebody opened up the rain and started coming down. So I was only out there for like 10 minutes. But something I heard yesterday or the day before, somebody else said this. When you become high vibrational, when you activate, those who are not, they almost start to not like you. And it doesn't matter how nice you are, you cannot agree, they are irritated with you. And that's
I can explain it.
Please tell me everything.
Okay. Remember how I was explaining that humans emit frequency, right? Now, think about this in a visual sense of like ripples in a water or a stereo vibration, okay? If you're like whoop, 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 you have this wave frequency. It's a wave disruption pattern. When you come in contact with a lower vibrational being, you automatically, because your wave doesn't flow with their wave, it's wave disruption. You're disrupting their environment just because of your emotional frequency. Right. So when you're spiritually aware and awakened and constantly or almost constantly, we ain't perfect, vibing that high, you're like a freaking hummingbird buzzing around a sloth. Right. You're irritating. You're instantly irritating to things that are not of that resonance. Right. That's the material science side of it.
And so further to my story, it just, as we were talking and as he was talking, and what he said is absolutely what's happening. There, I've kind of got a couple of sides. Well, it's all related, but what he was saying, at one point, we were joking around about me energetically crop dusting my workplace because people were so fucking miserable and just down. And there was a point where we were all getting along and everything was good. And well, I know what changed. The divine masculine was taken out of the shop and then just all hell broke loose. But it got to the point, well, it was actually Sonia Roy that said, you might want to be a little more careful because if you're like, your intentions are good, but people are rejecting it and it's putting a target on your back.
Yeah.
And so and so that ties into what I've done. And so earlier this year, I signed up, she calls it witch school. Karina, that witch Karina from The Witch's Inn. Highly,
Which school? No, I just
highly, highly.
WITCH, not WHICH.
Joking, which school?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So highly, highly recommend it. I'm not comfortable with the term witch, though, so I do not consider myself a witch. What it is you're learning alchemy. You're learning energy balance. It's all earth. You learn about earth, like the earth centered. It is not what I thought it was. And that's one of the reasons why I took the course.
For those who don't know, what's alchemy? Would you mind telling everybody what alchemy is?
So it's the long and the short of it is that you're basically taking control and transmuting the energy that's being sent to you. And so when all of this happened with the coworker and the clock and all that stuff, I went back to and there was a point where I was actually opening circle when I would go to work. The really funny part is I had actually already built an altar on my workstation, which I had no idea that was an altar. I just collected a bunch of stuff that was relevant to me. Like I've got a Bigfoot dinky truck from when we went to Monster Jam. I've got 2 rocks from our honeymoon, like one from Drumheller, one from the Saskatchewan River. I have an Organite pyramid from Karen Holton. Like I have these things. I have a hummingbird that represents my mom. I have a picture of my mom and my son and I. So like everybody that means the world to me has a space, and I didn't even realize what I was doing. And so when all of this stuff started happening with this coworker, I'm like, all right, I need to ground and like I need to hardcore ground and protect myself. Like I had been doing some stuff, like I've been doing some qigong, like shout out to Jay Skyrunner, because I've been doing it at work, bud. That's what's been balancing things, and I had to step it up. So the last couple of nights, hi Jay, bye Jay. I've opened circle just to protect myself. I've lit a candle in the spirit of peace, productivity, and prosperity. And the energy has been different, like not just for me, but also my friend. She has shown up, and she's working on a couple of new designs. Okay, so for people that don't know, I'm an industrial sewing machine operator, and I sew gymnastics leotards. And so my friend has been she's been stepping out of her comfort zone, and that's part of the reason why she's being targeted, is because she's putting out these new designs. The employers just absolutely love her right now. Things are going amazing for her. And so the last 2 nights I've opened circle, and just seems like there's been a whole lot of good and protection coming out of it.
You sew suits sometimes for US Gymnastics, like the leotards. It's not just the leotards though. You do like the bags with like the bungee cords, the headbands, the scrunchies. Like she's amazing, you guys. Like she's top of the line. You told me, I think you said they've done some for US Gymnastics. Maybe I'm mistaken. Like in the past.
What's that?
The leotards for the US Gymnastics team. I think you guys said
we've done some pretty big stuff. Yeah, and it's just like I do suits and scrunchies, and then like make like little grip bags. It's really here I am downplaying it.
I'm impressed. I know how to do this much on a sewing machine, okay? Like I could probably find the power button. So I'm just saying, if I just start making my own clothes, I'm screwed. Be wearing
you know what? I'd be able to teach you. It's one of those things. I'm going to try not to get into a rant, but one of those things that society has us believing it's a lot harder than what it is. It's not that difficult. You find everything is a straight line. You're sewing in a straight line. There's guides, like you know how we have guides. There's sewing guides. And I could absolutely help you make sense of it. So if you ever wanna crash course in sewing, just say the word. I can help you piece it together.
Yeah, come on over. No big deal. Just come on over. I'll see you when you
Okay,
get here.
just
Bring
pop
the
over.
sewing machine with you. You know what's funny is Aaron took home ec. Like, I don't know if it was junior high or high school, but he won an award for home ec, like for sewing. I took cooking class.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that? I mean, like, I was
That's
always
awesome.
impressed. Like, I was like, "What do you mean you know how to operate like a sewing machine?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I can do all of it, girl." And I'm like, okay. We don't know a sewing machine. I have a brother dye machine, which like I love. I got it for when I was doing like origami in my craft business, but now it just collects dust because I've done a total 180, and now I'm into a totally different world. Right? There's no crafting going on here over in the UFO world. You know what? It's really interesting too, Kyla. Like you talk about how you subconsciously like set this altar up. So, and I mean this in a kind way, so please don't take offense to this. How many altars has she set up and not realized, Dawn? Is it like she
I
does
had
this
to
around
tell
the
her.
house?
I had to tell her about this one.
Go ahead.
She's like, "Tell me about this." I'm like, "That's your altar," and she's like, "Oh."
I've been doing it my whole life, apparently. Like I did it at my locker in high school too. Like apparently it's a thing. I like, and that's something too. As I carry on with this journey, you know, like you learn different concepts and ideas and techniques and stuff, and it's like, oh shit, I've been doing this all along. Like, how many times has that happened? Like.
The reason why I ask is, do you wonder if it's coming through from another altar, like your altar? I've heard of altars like merging, right, with this timeline. I don't know if it's from the altar passing. Something happens where all of a sudden the consciousness are like consciously like blending together. You are aware of it. I've wondered because I've started to do things differently if it's coming from that, like another fractal of myself.
It's not for me, it's stuff that I've been doing my whole life. Like my best friend, like we've been friends since like we met when we were 10 years old. And she saw me. She knew what I was all along and had what?
Your natural magic.
Okay. Yeah, and I agree there. She saw me, and so she would ask me things about the future and you know, like come to me for guidance, and I had no idea what she was doing until she told me like years later. She's like, I knew you knew.
Yeah.
And like and it was just, and it was weird because like I was always there for her. Like she was starting to get into music. Like she's got a beautiful voice. Like this woman has the voice of an angel, and like should have a recording. Like she has been on the radio. But I would be there with my lucky teddy bear necklace, standing on the side of the stage, always cheering her on. And it's almost like she needed, like, well, she wanted me there, but it was almost like I needed to be there to, I don't know if I was her muse or her mantis from, you know, like friggin' Guardians of the Galaxy, like calming her down, but there was just something. And then and then the really crazy part, she ended up marrying my grade 8 boyfriend, who she used to go on, like she would be our lookout for when we go and for when we go make out. She ended up marrying him. His name is Don.
She has a type.
That's right. I was collecting errands when I met him, so synchronicities.
Okay,
right?
so
They're like
it's the thing.
Yeah.
But she knew all along, and like even like and you know, like I have questions about what I like. I still haven't figured out all the stuff that I can do. Because her and Dawn would get into a disagreement about something that happened in like grade 8, and they'll like call me up. It's like, okay, you were there. How did this go? and I'd be able to tell them. I could go back like that. There's certain things like
Dawn that long.
No.
No, the other Dawn.
Oh, the other Dawn.
No.
The other Dawn. My apologies. I'm following.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I was like, wow. I'm following.
Yeah, like they would. Yeah, they would get like they would ask me about things that happened like 30 years ago, and I can go right back there. I like I said, I still haven't unlocked things. There was a time where Dawn and I were on the phone with somebody from our past, and she was in a parking lot, and there was some creeps like circling around her. Was it security or something?
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. And Dawn and I were both able to see her in her vehicle, and like we were there, like just I don't know if we were
located.
Yeah, like if we were protecting her, but they backed off, but we were both there. We could see it, like we described it to her.
I told her what color the trim was on her car.
You know, it's so creepy, just like not creepy, but it's so weird because the first few shows you and I did together, I couldn't figure out why you looked so familiar. And then when you sent me a picture of you and Aaron next to each other, I don't know how I missed it. And now I keep looking at you and I'm like, man, when did Aaron didn't shave this morning? It's so weird. Like, and even I think it's the hat on top of it. Like, sorry, it's so bizarre to see him looking back at the screen at me, and just even like your mannerisms and like your facial expressions. Like, I was
It's
like,
because we're
I was watching an
the same
episode of myself going on here. No, but really though, I can understand how you're saying. I have memories that go back to like the age of 2, Kyla, that are like yesterday. Yeah, but I can't remember where I put my keys at last time I came home.
Yeah, apparently that's not normal.
Yeah.
Oh, of course not. No. I haven't been normal my whole life. I wouldn't expect it to be normal.
Well, I mean, I was always told that I was weird, and I dressed the part. Like, oh my God, I used to figure skate, and there's this one hoity-toity coach that just, I drove her batshit crazy because I would show up in like the loudest spandex that I could find, and I would like wear boxer shorts over top of my spandex. I'd wear a baseball cap. Like, it was very rare that I wore like the frilly foofy schmoofer skirts because my mom couldn't afford them. So I'm like, screw this, I'm gonna have my own style. And I really skated to my own drum. Like I didn't fit in there either. And it's like, screw this, I'm here to skate.
I was a weird kid too. I got in trouble for putting the glue on my hand in the 4th grade and like peeling it off and like coloring my nails with the markers. And I remember this is like my mother passed like a week after summer vacation passed between 3rd and 4th grade. So then I go into 4th grade. I was definitely already weird, and that just like kind of derailed me. And I think that's got to be normal, right? Like, I don't know put a 1 in the chat if you ever were the kid that did the glue on your hand, okay? But I remember the teacher called my dad in, and like they acted like I was huffing the glue, not peeling it off my skin, right? So I've always been weird like that too. And that's why I love you guys, is because it's like your vibe attracts your tribe. This is the kids that were peeling the glue off. See, yep, there's a group. This is the group for us out there that's peeling the glue off your hands. You know what's really interesting too, and I want to ask Dawn about this. So Dawn sent me some pictures, and I am going to show those. And that's why I really wanted to talk about these like synchronicities where we do things our whole life and we don't realize it, or we find other people that do it and it seems like a one-off. And now I really love finding each other. Sorry, let me not talk with my hands. I take sign language, so it's such a thing for me. I want to know, Dawn, a little bit about, just for the people who haven't heard the story, how you woke up, what you're remembering, and how you came to produce the pictures you sent me before I show them.
Okay.
And she can fill in where you need her to.
Yeah. It actually starts like when the Rona hit. She started doing a deep dive because she was working from home and just like binge listening podcasts. And a lot of it was for my health because I've had health issues and pain issues. from surgeries and motorcycle accidents and all this crazy shit that's been the last 47 years of my life, right? I really, up until 2 years ago, I could not stand podcasts. I thought they were for little annoying yuppie people. They pissed me off. Like I did not even want to hear a podcast 2 years ago. These are
I'm clutching my
facts.
pearls like a 1950s housewife. I don't believe
Yeah,
that,
like
Don.
I thought they were the dumbest thing ever. I was like, get out of here. I don't want to listen to that crap. And she's like, no, you got to hear this one. You got to hear this one. I'm like, yeah, okay, rolling my eyes. Give me a beer, right? I still drank at the time. Like,
No,
like
sounds like my house.
when she was like, when she was into it, I was still drinking. And I was like, I'd rather be drunk than listen to that garbage. Like shit, right? And like it just didn't appeal to me. Well, then about 2 years ago,
2.5.
2.5 years ago, I started having some really horrific nightmares. And then for about 9 nights in a row, they were terrifying. Like, I mean, I was dying 30, 40, 50 times a night. I was like, and what I was fighting was 12 to 14 foot tall reptilian creatures. And and to my best understanding, and when I feel into it, I believe it was a couple hundred years in the future after the earth has been reset and there's a new population of humans or the pre-existing ones that actually made it. I'm not even sure about the details of that, right? I knew it was always an alternate timeline or sometime in the future, and I'm pretty sure it was in the future, right? But basically what it is I'm there, my consciousness, like the me that is me, the eye of the I am, right? Not the persona of Dawn that drives a septic truck. The eye of the I am, the consciousness, the one that understands everything, can be placed into a body repeatedly to help protect the new humanity from these reptilian creatures. And the bodies are basically disposable because you're fighting something that's 14 feet tall and they're going to get the best of you. But you know what? They're really fun to kill, right? I'm not trying to be sick, but it almost becomes like a sport after a while. But like I was having these horrific nightmares where I was dying over and over and over again. Like she couldn't sleep within 2 feet of me. I was like swinging wildly, screaming, crying. I've said this on the air and I'm not afraid to admit it. I pissed the fucking bed. It scared me so bad. Right? I'm a grown ass man and it's weird to admit this, but these experiences that I was having were so tactile, so real. I could taste my teeth and blood in my mouth, right? I could feel everything that I was going through over and over and over again, but I was doing it to protect this humanity, right? This isn't like the Montauk Project or the secret space program. This is a super soldier program that I was involved in voluntarily. I volunteered my consciousness to protect humanity, right? And it took me a long time for me to wrap my head around this. And that gets into the pictures that I sent to you, because during hypnosis, I actually had the reflection of myself brought back, and I ended up drawing that one picture. And that's basically the humanoid blank that we're in, right? And the suits that we wear basically multiply your natural abilities. Like I'm not 5'5" Dawn in that reality. I am like 6'4" humanoid consciousness in a body, right? And I'm operating that body just like a pilot. And these suits that we have are basically super suits. Like they increase your physical ability. Like you can actually wrestle a 14-foot tall reptilian to the ground. That's the suit, right? That was my rough drawing. I'm not a very good artist. I didn't have the ability to draw out all the wiring and the like how the hydraulics work, right? And there was a lot of people that when I started explaining this to people, they thought this sounded really far-fetched. Well, like I said, to my best understanding, this is a couple hundred years in the future. And if you pull up the next one, which is the article from Atlas,
Yes,
this is the technology that
I'm trying to figure out how to change it. Sorry, it's my first time.
no worries.
Just
No
keep
worries.
talking. I'm going to figure it out.
But the picture that you'll show next is the new technology that we're developing in this timeline. So what I'm talking about in an entire exoskeleton, it's not
Not
even a
that one.
spacesuit. Yeah,
This
no,
is very
that's it.
similar to it, though, right? This exoskeleton boost. Like, this is almost like those robots that they've created to go to war. That they show it like running an agility course, right? Like it can jump. It's got more dexterity than like the human body almost. And
Well,
it never
what it
stops.
is no, what it is these, what they've built now is the stepping stone to what these suits are. They become completely intuitive. So you can operate them just like you would operate your own digits or your arms, but all of a sudden you're 50 to 100 times stronger than you are as this base 6'5", 6'4" humanoid, right? So it's gotten a well-developed human figure, right, that you use as an avatar, and then it puts you in a suit that multiplies your natural abilities by like 50 to 100, like I'm saying, and you have basically the knowledge of all of combat, like close quarters combat, martial arts, like anything you could need to go against these creatures.
Yeah, Jason Rice, who did a whole season on Gaia, talks about that too. He talks about the suit, but he also talks about the enhancements that they give you, like these nanobodies, right? Like he says that turns you into like the Hulk almost. And not only that, just like your senses are on overdrive and you have more senses than the 5 that you're used to almost.
Yes, absolutely. Like your intuition is off the chart. So when I was going through all of this, like I'm like waking up crying. Like I said, I pissed the bed and my wife can't sleep next to me. She's in the middle of her podcast deep dive, and I still don't like podcasts. She's like, you have to listen to this. And I'm like, no. She's like, you have to listen to this. No. You have to listen to no.
I was almost at the point of like sitting on him and showing him what the jaw part is of Spinja.
Right? It just about got physical because I would not listen to this. So this is where it's going to touch home with you. I sat down and listened to my very first episode of the Typical Skeptic podcast with Rob Khalil. And it was Arkeem Ra.
So do you remember? I'm sure you remember what it was about.
It was Arkeem Ra, and he was explaining some of his secret space program memories, which is a very similar technology to what was happening to me. So as Arkeem was explaining his experiences, it was resonating on such an emotional level that I actually ended that episode a blubbering mess because I realized I wasn't going insane. This can actually happen. Your consciousness, you can view, you can experience stages of your consciousness. And in one of them, I'm a super soldier that's actually doing these things. Right. And this is very close. This is very close. Thank you for doing that with the AI. And like, that's essentially it, except on the inside of that suit is exactly like the exoskeleton that you showed in the clip, right? Except it's all through it. It's on all of your joints. It's on all of your muscles. Like everything is stimulated by the fabric of this suit and the inner workings to make you basically superhuman.
Yeah, I totally have been getting like emotional memories back. But one of the things I've noticed is like I'll wake up with bruises on me that don't relate to anything that I've bumped into. You know what I mean? Like I'm very clumsy, you guys. And I'll walk down the hallway and I hit the doorknob like every time on this arm. I woke up with like bruises here, or I woke up with like puncture wounds on me that looked like fangs had, gone through my skin, and it didn't make sense. I want to ask you another question. Do you ever wake up feeling like, you've gone to sleep, you've rested, you haven't had one of those nights where, you're having the night terrors like bleed through where she's like waking you up, or you can tell, your body is physically reacting to the reality that's going on in your dreams? dreams. Do you ever wake up,
Yeah.
you know that it's been a calm night, but for some reason you feel on edge, or the way you feel is not lining up with how the night went?
Yes, but I also I will get to that on how the night went and feeling on edge. I want to get to what you were talking about with waking up with things. I woke up with a new nose. She could actually sit here and tell you, you could see the
There was a
surgical
line.
scar of where they had reattached my nose. I went for a nap and went somewhere else and got blown up. And when I got up, I don't know why, but I immediately looked in the mirror because my nose felt weird. And there was a surgical scar, like a glue mark almost, where they had put my nose back together.
My gosh, Aaron broke his nose a couple of times. And so when they gave you the nose, you obviously, what was so noticeable about it to you? Were you even sore? Let me start with that. Were you sore?
It looked like a fresh scar. Like it's actually gone now, but it looked like they had glued and sewn my, like not even sewn, but like cauterized my nose with like really small precision back into place. And I remember the last thing I remembered in my nap was being blown up. And then I woke up back here, and I guess there was some physical overlay from one reality to the other, because when they were restructuring me in that density, it bled through here physically.
So Kyla, while all this is going on, did you have idea? Because you're like me, right? With the podcast, and Aaron and Dawn are like please, just like not one more look at this, right? Like if I see one more thing, my head's gonna blow off. How are you handling this? What were you seeing, and what was resonating? What were you identifying?
I had seen it, I'd say probably a couple of months before he started listening to me. So it was hard because it's like, this is important information. These are the answers that you've been looking for. Would you fucking listen to me already? And like the really unfortunate part, and I know that you relate, you get so enthusiastic about something that you want to share with somebody that you kind of like oversaturate it. We have this saying kind of thing. Okay, so the movie Southland Tales, if you guys haven't seen it, highly recommend you check it out. It was buried. It was one of those friggin' gems that was buried. It's got a star-studded cast. It would blow your flippin' mind. The Rock is in it. Sean William Scott, aka Stifler, was in it. Sarah Michelle Gellar was in it. Yeah, definitely check it out. And so it, like, I loved it, and I was trying to describe it to Dawn, but I wasn't as articulate as I am now. Like part of what's happened to me is that my voice was taken. I was highly mentally and emotionally abused. Don't speak up, throat chakra closed, the whole 9 yards. And I know you get it. I know you get it. And so a lot of times we don't know how to express ourselves or how to convey the importance of something because our enthusiasm overshadows it, and we're looking like so excited, you gotta see this. So I kind of oversold it. And so I was trying so hard to not Southland Tales this experience, and it was so difficult. So I would just I would bring in tiny drips, and like there was a couple of things that he was interested in. That's where shorts have helped. Like I'd be able to get him to sit still long enough for a short. And it's not like he wasn't interested in the topics. I think it was the Moniker podcast, because if you think about it, I'm trying to I'm trying to remember the term, and it wasn't yuppie, it was something else. But anyway, just the type of energy persona, we just can't friggin' stand them. Like they're like the kind of people that would come into the area that we like sanctimonious, holier than thou. Like, I listen to a podcast, I'm important. And I think that's what was running through the back of his head is that it was just I can't I think of that name. It's just bugging me. It's like the dude the wannabes that have like the beards and the plaid shirts that want to be like us but are nothing like us.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Totally.
Oh, what's the word?
Yeah.
What is the word? It's gonna come to me like 2 a.m. If you guys can think of that word, and no offense, my ex-boyfriend's one of these, the man bun, right? Comes with the man bun.
It's exactly everything that he didn't want to be, and so he associated podcasts with that. And I'm like, I try to tell him, no, that is not the case at all. It's just these people that are trying to get information out. So finally, like he like when he hit his breaking point, like I had like, you know, like I'm like, seriously, just hear me out just this once, because I'd been gathering all of this information. Like it wasn't even just our Keems episode. Like you know, like I was it, you know, like it kicked off like he said, like I was listening to podcasts, and it started there was some stuff that was going on, but a lot of it was health related. And it's wild how I even got here, because I was listening to a show, and Sam Tripoli was on it. And I know some people are kind of like, you know, love hate Sam, and you know, like I have my own opinions of him, but he's done some good things. But one of the good things was that Chris Matthew was on his podcast. And so that kind of kicked off the how we got here. So I started listening to Chris Matthew and like Forbidden Knowledge News, and then that's where I got introduced to everybody else, because like with Forbidden Knowledge, like it's an awakening smorgasbord. Like it's awesome, because you've got people talking about what we're talking about now. You've got people talking about health, like healing modalities, and you've got Steven Stathis of BG Cast. Like that dude just spans everything. And so and then Rob Khalil from The Typical Skeptic was on Chris's show, which brought us to here. And so all of like and I was sitting on all of this, and now like some of these guys are like Don's closest friends.
Yeah.
And so it just got to the point, like I almost had to beg him, like, could you please listen to this, give it a shot, because I really feel like this is going to resonate with you. And he finally did, thank goodness. And like here we are.
Well, there's a step between here we are, though, because for quite some time, I fell down the SSP rabbit hole, and it was basically spiritual psychosis, right? I could not get my head around anything else. It was obsessive. Like, it was all I could think about. It was all I could look up. It was all I could video. It was all I could talk about. It was all I could imagine. It was all I meditated on. It was what I almost became. And then there was a moment.
It consumes me.
There was a moment when I went, wait a second. If I'm able to recall and interact with the existence of my consciousness when I'm a super soldier, because I can even get lucid when I'm there, that means that there's probably an infinitesimal amount of my other consciousness that I can experience. And that means if that's real, then it blew the doors wide open on my understanding of consciousness and the quantum reality. And that's where Karen Holton triggered one of the biggest downloads I've ever received in my life, because we were doing a show And she posed the question. She's like, do you think we're in a holographic simulation? And I had never, I saw the movie The Matrix. I've watched Terminator. I've seen Total Recall, right? That was as far into those theories as I had ever really gone. And then I had taken up meditation by this point. And one of the ways that I find that I can easily unlock information from my higher self is I'll get into a state of relaxation, focusing on the third eye, and I'm just thinking of what I want to understand and what I want to come to me. And those are the things. It's not even like a forced thought. It's just, okay, she asked me, do I think, is this a simulation? How would I understand this on a molecular level? If this was a simulation, how would I understand this? And I woke up the next day, and not only did I know where to look for everything that's in that paper that's on my Facebook page, I also had a rudimentary understanding of quantum physics and quantum mechanics when I woke up. And this is something that the alchemist gave me shit for, so I'm not running myself down. I'm just mentioning it as a state of fact. I only have a grade 10 education. I now have a rudimentary understanding of quantum physics and quantum mechanics that I never studied for. So you were asking earlier if you can ascertain information from other versions of self. You're fucking right, you can. Because I'm a living example of it.
I had an experience in February, the week the planets aligned, and it was like I was tapping into another. I mean, there was information in my head that I had never come across. I mean, like, I just have ideas coming out of me. I am seeing things differently. What are you pointing at?
Absolutely right.
What did he say? I couldn't hear him. Speaking my good ear. I need an ear horn.
Right.
Yeah.
People are remembering all the... Yeah.
Good. Sorry, we have a little delay with the internet because the storm. So I'm sorry, you guys.
No, it's cool. It happens all the time. Don't be sorry.
So I want to ask you this because we've all experienced this. I know there's people in the chat that have experienced this. It seems like as you start to waken up, when you're almost, there's either that point where you're going to awaken or you're going to have that plausible deniability and you're going to use that to explain it away, right? And so it's almost like this stigma of programming where you're like, I sound like one of these, no offense, I feel like one of those nuts that I see talking to themselves on the side of the road. And now I don't believe schizophrenia is at all what we thought it was. I personally, and I could be wrong, but I don't think I am, I think it's directed frequency targeting can get people to act a certain way, to create false flags, to create narratives, to create attention or even distractions away from, whatever's going over here, like smoking mirrors. Have you guys experienced yourselves where you are watching the people around you be targeted? And I'll give you an example and then I'll let you take over. I want you both to give an example. So I had a parasite infestation in my house the last month. In 8 years, I've never had cockroaches. I don't know where they came from. We bombed 3 times. I had to have a professional exterminator come out twice. And what was finally the breaking point was I was cooking dinner last week. I turn around and there's literally a circle on the cabinet all staring at me. Like they were just coming and getting in this circle. And I felt like you're feeling like when someone's staring at you from behind and you turn around and you catch them, right? Like I could feel it. That's what made me turn around. And I just lost my ever living ish. I told Aaron, I was like, I don't care if we have to burn this house to the mother effing ground. I cannot go and see another freaking cockroach. And it wasn't just one, it was 2 species of cockroaches. None of my neighbors had them. We're not dirty. Like I spring clean winter, summer, spring, and fall. Okay. Like I'm obsessive with the cleaning. And when they came out, they couldn't even believe that I had them because the house is so clean. There wasn't any really opportunity for them. Like I would open the door, you guys, and they would come in like the Macy's Day Parade. Like they would flood through the house like it was a cockroach raid. Yeah. And I mean, it was freaking me the heck out. So, and I've also experienced Aaron and I, other people around us, like my dad one day literally looked at me and goes, "Stop trying to open your chakras, Michelle." I couldn't believe like it. So I'm gonna let you guys have the floor now, and then we're gonna talk about your crystals, Kyla. Whoever wants to go first.
Well, we'll start off like right with what your dad said. So I won't get into all of it, but my mom had thyroid cancer, and that's ultimately what took her, and that's a whole story that would just piss you right off. But anyway, at the time I was sleeping beside her every night. She didn't want to be, she was in the hospital. She didn't want to be alone. And so I slept in a chair every night. And the night before she passed, she was being very, very difficult. And I get it. Like, I get it now, you know, like she'd been bedridden. She didn't have control over anything. And it was getting to her. And anyway, we got into an argument, and I can't remember what I'd said to her, but she always told me that I would read too much into, like, I read too much into things. Like, I would see signs, and it's like, oh, I found a white feather. That's my friend talking to me. And oh, I found a penny. Somebody's sending me a message. Oh, I saw 11:11. And that night, she said to me, "You read too much into things." And I looked at her square in the eyes, and I said, "There's going to come a day where you're glad that I do." And that was, and it's, you know, like, that was one of the first times I ever stood up to my mom, and I kind of felt bad about doing it at the time. Now I have no regrets, because guess what? But where I'm going with that is that was not her. Because okay, so here's the other thing, like, when you were saying, like, I went through all of this before. I have a journal. It would blow your mind. I just found it. I actually called it my book of power. And I started it back in 2011. And in it, I wrote different things. And I told you, like, last week about how I opened it up to a page where it was a message from my mom, and it was very relevant to what's happening in my life right now. She had no idea why she said it. She told me she didn't know why she said it, and I wrote it down. Well, and it was the same thing, you know, like there was a time when like, because she wasn't awake, she, like, all of this, she didn't discount it. There was also little ways that she actually encouraged me without knowing that she encouraged me. But she figured that I had something that she didn't. There was one time in her life that there was some stuff going on, and she came up to me and she's like, "Can you just do what you do for me?" And meaning that I was able to balance energies or see things or something, but she just knew. So the part where she, like, the night before she died, when she said, "You read too much into things," I fucking knew it wasn't her.
Yeah, I've been hearing that statement a lot, not randomly, but just out of people randomly that I would never expect to say that. And it's like, where did that come from? You know, how many synchronicities before it's not just the one off, right?
Yeah, it's because it's not them. There is something or somebody controlling them and making them say it. It's all part of the gaslighting, Michelle. Like, that's something that I'm finding on my journey now, where, and it's just, I'm actually getting a download right now. Like, and I think this is for us, that everything that's spoken to us.
That's awesome.
we really do need to be more discerning. Is it about us? Is this message for us, or is it something that's trying to derail us? And obviously it will use those of us that are closest to us. Like my mom, I was gonna say was, but is my best friend, because I say, like, she, like, her physical form's gone. She just changed forms. She hasn't gone anywhere.
I know
Yeah.
what you mean. I lost my mom at 9, but I feel like she's right here um all the time. And it actually, on an episode of Typical Skeptic, it went from a reading into a full mediumship. One time with my grandmother, who I was incredibly close with, and one time with my mother. And then the woman's name was Magdalena Messenger, and she was a one-off interview that Rob took. But she knew my mom had died having liposuction of her stomach, and it was a totally. I'm not even going to get into the story of it because it was not normal. The whole night wasn't normal. And hours before she passed, I started having visions or premonitions of what was going to happen. And it never happened before that in my life. There's something else I was going to say and I just forgot. So why don't you go ahead, Dawn, if there's anything that resonated with you or what you were thinking of while she was talking, if you want to piggyback on that. And if the memory comes back, I'll write it down and I'll share it afterwards.
There's actually a couple of things I wrote down as you guys were talking, and one of them is like, with the people that just flat out deny it. I have a friend who saw me during some of my drunkest times, but I've also been able to get into my higher self sometimes when I used to drink. And there was a night that I was sitting with a young lady who was actually an astrophysicist at a university, and I was fairly intoxicated, and my friend comes out of the bar and goes, "Oh, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about." And this astrophysicist goes, "Actually, he's kind of like a drunk redneck Sheldon. He knows exactly what he's talking about." So when I came up with the paper that I wrote that's on my Facebook about the construct of reality and my understanding of whether or not this is a simulation, I told my friend, I'm like, I don't know why we're here exactly, but I think I've figured out how. And he looks at me and goes, "Please don't tell me." Like I had said, I think I understand reality. And he like flat out asked me, he knows I'm smart enough that I may have actually figured it out. He's like, "Please don't tell me." Like he is in the 3D and willingly. He has a good job. He has a girl he likes. He has a house he's paying for. He doesn't want to know. He knows there's something that I understand that he doesn't, that probably has something fundamental to do with this reality. And he's just like, "Nope. Okay, goodbye." No, right? I barely hear from him anymore since I said that to him. Like he has just kind of tuned me out. And it's just like, I'm not hurt by it or anything. It's just like, wow, that there are people that are just like, "No, you're wrong. No, I don't want to know that this
La
is."
la la la
Yeah,
la 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 la.
exactly. Like I'm not listening. Right. And
I love that
the
song.
other thing, the other thing I wanted to mention was exactly what Jay was saying in the chat. Is like there is like too much. We don't pay enough attention to history, and I just want to be very, very clear. I do not consider myself part of the secret space program because to me, that is something that's run by some very, very evil entities that do some awful, awful things to the participants. And that's not what I was involved in. Mine actually is exactly what Jay was saying. I am almost certain what I viewed was a future timeline or a adjacent timeline, a tangent timeline. It wasn't some terrible program. It is an existence of mind consciousness, right? It's just something that I've experienced in a reality that I am able to tune into, like that radio frequency that you were talking about. I can see that state of my conscious existence, right? And I'm okay with that now. It doesn't haunt me when I go there. I just participate, wake up, and go on with my life here, right? There's the odd time, like I went through about 6 months of lucid dreaming almost every night, and I recently asked it to stop for a little while because like I was waking up more exhausted than I was when I went to sleep. And it's because you're shifting conscious realities. Like you're resting your physical form here, but your consciousness never stops.
It's like Avatar.
It's like Avatar. And when you choose to be fully engrossed in the other experiences, you never really spiritually or physically, mentally stop, right? Your body here rests, but that's about the only part of you that rests. You're not resting your energy and you're not resting your spirit, right? So it is rather exhausting, but it is something that you can. I was actually trying to figure out how to be selective because I do believe there's a way. I believe exactly what you were saying. Like we were born with more than five senses. That's what the clairs are. That's what the clairaudience, like the kinesis is, all of those things. Those aren't special abilities. Those were senses that have been stripped away from us. Right? So like it's absolutely exhausting, and that's why we don't have them anymore. I just totally lost my train of thought there.
No, you're doing good,
yeah.
dude. No, you just keep going with it.
Right off the track.
If you don't want to keep going with it, I remembered what I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
Okay. If you remember, just interrupt me, okay? Basically, I want to say, just to finish what you had just mentioned, and I want to piggyback on it, is Farsight Institute for Remote Viewing talks about when we are going through this reincarnation cycle, we see this tunnel of light. And while we're going up the tunnel of light, what's actually happening is we're being hit with such high amounts of voltage that what they call the psi ability, so the telekinesis, the ability to fly, the ability to change matter, right, with our mind, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that is being removed along with our memories. And then we get to the top, what happens? Well, this Council of Elders comes out and they give us screen memories back, right? And then they tell us, Dawn, you weren't really nice to your mother that time. And we think you just have a couple wrinkles that you just need to iron out. We think just, another lifetime is just a slight attitude adjustments. All you need, right? Like that's what the line is. And they are flooding us with this unconditional love feeling, right? And we are so kept in the dark here about this vehicle we call death. And what's on the other side? Is it consciousness that continues? Are we going to go to the big house on the hill? Or there's so much that they do, and they make it all about the belief system. Go ahead. Did you remember what you're going to say, or you just?
No, I just have something to go with you on this. I can help you with this. I died in November.
Phil, I was there.
Okay.
The whole thing.
I did.
So if you want to start, this is an experience, and it actually explains what you're talking about and how it's supposed to go.
I'm actually going to backpedal a little bit because it was not my first time there. So as I mentioned about my mom, I was actually holding her hand when she crossed over. And I'm okay with this. So don't, I wouldn't have it any other way. I've got my closure. I said everything that I needed to say to her, and I'm totally okay with it. So it was like the middle of the night, and I looked over at her, and I couldn't watch her anymore. I just had to close my eyes. And so I closed my eyes, and it was the darkest black that I have ever experienced, like with my eyes closed. Like I can't even, I don't have the words to express how dark it was. And I was holding her hand at the time. And it's really interesting, like when Dawn explained about the oxygen when we came back from wherever it was, I suddenly got hit. Like it was black. I suddenly got hit with oxygen, and I took a deep breath and just and I opened my eyes, and I looked over, and she was gone. And I really think what happened, there was no tunnel. I escorted her personally
You went
to
to
the
the
door.
void.
My foot touched heaven's door, heaven, the next realm, whatever you want to call it. She did not go through the light. I wasn't allowed to see it because I don't know if I kicked some astral ass, if that's what it was, or if it was so beautiful that I wouldn't have wanted to come back, because I was going through hell at the time because I was losing my mom, and at the same time I was fighting my son's father in a fight that should never have happened. He abused my son so bad under the watch of child protection. That's a whole other story. But like the last time my family got together at my mom's deathbed, I was in court fighting for my child. So yeah, I wasn't having a very good time. So it was probably blacked out because I wouldn't have come back. So fast forward to November 20th.
This last year?
Yeah,
24?
just this
Okay,
this
24.
past year. I'm on the phone, and I'm getting the phone rang. It was 2 days. Okay, so 2 days after the collision, after they tried to take me out, I'm on the phone with my lawyer, and he's telling me like what we have been waiting for. Like he's telling me what, like, the 411, what's going on. And Don, he wasn't feeling well to begin with, and so he was just kind of laying there, and the lawyer's giving me the meat and potatoes, and he looks over and he's like, "I'm sorry, but I think I'm having a heart attack." And so the lawyer's like, "Okay, go." And so
That's funny for a lawyer. I'm sure he's like, "Oh, I'll be a witness for you and your lawyer at the same time." Sorry.
So what happened, to backpedal a bit, she'd asked for something to eat, and I usually love cooking. So I'm like, yeah, I got up and I was just not myself. Like, I barely felt like I was here. Things were hurting in weird places, and I'm like feeling sick and dizzy and like almost like I'm gonna pass out. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, look, there's some pizza from last night. I can't do this right now. And then the phone rings and she's starting to talk to the lawyer, and like, I'm starting to black out, and there's like tightness in my chest, and it's thumping, and my stomach hurts, and I'm nauseous, and I'm like, holy shit, I think I'm having a heart attack. And this goes on for probably longer than I should have let it. And I finally said something when I couldn't breathe, and I was like, I'm sorry, I think I'm having a heart attack. And that's when everything went on. And so I'm going to side scroll here for a second. What happened was my gallbladder had ruptured previously, and I developed a condition called peritonitis. What peritonitis is it's a constriction of the sac, the film that's around your internal organs, right? When that gets inflamed, it tightens. Well, what was happening was the leak was right near my vascular system, and it was tightening around the ventricles of my heart, right? So essentially, I was having heart failure, right? Because my heart could no longer function. So she's called 911, right? I'm not actually having a heart attack. The circulation of my heart's being cut off. And so she calls 911, paramedics get here, and they can't figure out what the hell is wrong. They know something's wrong in there, but they're not sure. And my blood pressure drops to 1/3, and my heart rate drops to 1/3 the normal human rate. And I start to lose consciousness. And she's like beside me at this time, holding my hand, kind of cussing me out in her head.
yeah,
Like,
I can. So he's laying on the bed, and I'm just like, oh my God. And in my head, I'm giving him shit. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you seriously thinking about checking out on me at the fucking 5-yard line? We've been waiting and as I'm ranting, like I'm just like, and I'm just giving like, and like I'm saying this in my head, like I'm not saying this verbally. I close my eyes and I'm getting this vision, and I'm just like shredding. I'm like, what the fuck are you thinking? And
Hold on. I have to get there first.
okay,
So, just before all of this happens, I was sitting there, and like I said, I was about to pass out, and I'm like, no, I don't want to die. I'm having this internal argument. I don't want to die, right? The me that wants to live is saying this, and then all of a sudden I heard my own voice in my head. And it was like, just for a second, it was me, and it was the most purest, docile version of myself I've ever heard speak to me. And I said, just for a second. And I let go. And I died.
so that's so I'm shredding him, and then I look up, and I'm in this space where there's like a kind of like a light orange peachy like glow ahead of me. It wasn't an actual, like, you couldn't see like the actual light source. It was just like a glow. It looked like kind of like sunrise, but without the, like, you couldn't see the sun yet.
But I was thinking,
And I see him walking towards the glow, and like there's a mist, and I see him walking, and I'm like, and here I am, I'm shredding him, and I look up, and I'm like, don't you fucking dare! Like, and I screamed that at him.
So, while she's having this experience in her mind's eye, I have passed. And what I'm experiencing is very similar to what she's talking about, except I'm in first person. And what I'm in front of is almost like a gelatinous plasmic energy. And I wasn't so much walking towards it as I was becoming a part of it. I was going home. And Michelle, I will tell you, I have watched my children be born. I've hugged my mother my entire life. I've been married twice. I've had every experience of love that you are supposed to have as a human. The love from the heart and through my entire body that pulsated through me in the presence of this energy is unexplainable. I will never experience it in physicality again, and it hurts me every day that I know that I have to die to do it again. But it was the most pure form of love that I have ever felt in this reality. And as I was becoming a part of it, I hear like a Walmart checkout, "Don't you fucking dare!" And I pop back to consciousness, and I'm staring her in the face.
And he has a smirk on his face, and I'm just like, what? Just my initial, like, okay, like, so it was like, oh, I'm so glad you're back. But then I wanted to like slap him.
Oh, I'm thinking of it
Because
like
I
the
had
proverbial
this
like Mortal Kombat, like the get over here. Like that's what she did, is like she reached in through the quantum and like raptured you back. You know what I mean?
I'm
I
an
don't know if
astral
anybody's
hobbit.
old enough to remember that.
Astral hobbit wrangler. That's my other title.
Yeah, I was going home, and she's like, "Don't you dare!" And that's
Don't you
literally what I heard booming in my head.
He's the kid I would have put a tether on.
You said we did everything together. No,
Yeah. Well, you introduced us as interdimensional exit buddies. I tried to get on the exit before she was ready
I wasn't
to go.
ready to go. Like, no, we're not going here yet.
No, back.
You know
Get
what
back in the
reminds
car.
me of? It reminds me of this Jeff Foxworthy joke. I don't know why, but he's talking about his wife, like replacing all the furniture and stuff. And like, he's like, if someone breaks into the house, she's going to shoot them. And then she's going to yell at them for bleeding on the floor for 45 minutes while the ambulance, don't you bleed on my floor. I just did these floors today. Do you know I'm the only one in this house that cleans? Like, that's what I think of when I hear that. It's like, oh, no, you don't.
Yeah. Oh,
know?
it was literally when you don't.
Man, that was intense.
But-
Sorry, you guys. Like, I'm
I-
so
I-
emotional all the time now. Like, I feel like you're telling me this story where it's like it's remembering of like something that I'd forgotten, right? And then I'm reminded of it. Like when you're describing this, like I feel like my heart remembers this, even if this human mind doesn't remember it like a fresh memory. Like it's like my heart
Because
chakra is sending time.
Because you've died and gone home before.
And here's the thing, like I also respect free will. If he was in that much pain and he didn't want to be here, I wouldn't have. I really don't think I would have done that. This was. I don't think he thought this through.
Wait a second.
Like, and
You weren't there to ask me for my decisions so that you could follow them through, right? That's why I tell you all the time. I wasn't there to make the decision.
yeah, like you're jumping the gun here, sweetheart. Like, did you think this through? I mean, like if this is your choice, I respect it, but I think you saw something shiny and you went and chased it. I don't think you thought all of this through.
Home.
Oh my gosh. I wanted to share something with you. I don't know if it's too far off, like squirrel, but earlier the other thing I couldn't remember was Renetta. You were talking about how your mom, like that wasn't her. Renetta, she was doing so. Renetta Jones, who is someone that Dawn did lots of interviews with. She was near and dear to all of us, and she was targeted. And I don't care what anyone says, she was taken out by the Mountain Dews. The directed ones, right? And literally in a matter of 3 weeks, she went from healthy, vibrant to exiting without us, right? Like so she basically was doing these groups and she would do one a week and then she started doing them like every other day. And she did a group about the United States, and I'm not political, but I'm just paraphrasing this. If you want to watch her videos, Black Sunrise University on YouTube or Rumble, you can check those out. I'd highly recommend them. Dawn did a plethora of interviews. They were the interviews that actually I found on Typical Skeptic that led to this awakening experience for me. She had made a video about the United States, the federal money that was being pulled, and she was talking about the blue and the red states, that the blue states were paying so much in taxes if their federal money was pulled, they wouldn't feel any kind of fallout. The red states were paying so little and depending so much on the federal income to break the difference between what the state was producing and what they needed to just have, emergency services, programs and assistance for needy families, et cetera, et cetera. And she was saying this was being done intentionally. Well, I asked her at the end of this group, which mind you was weeks before she exited. And I said, Renetta, if you tentatively had to give us a date for when you think that like the bottom out is going to be like, the reverberation of this bottom out is going to be felt by us all, what's your best guess? And she said 90 days, right? She text messages me one night late, and it's like 9-10 o'clock at night, something, I don't know. It was late. And she goes, Michelle, I'm trying to find that video I did on this group I just told you guys about. And she goes, remember how you said you thought it was going to happen in April, that like the stock market was going to crash? Because these are one of the side effects she said was going to happen, was the stock market was going to bottom out like the Great Depression. And she goes, you remember you told me, oh no, it's not May, it's April. And I like, she's telling me that I had argued this with her in this group, right? So on recording, that's not at all what happened or what I remember. This wasn't a hostile or like an abrasive question. She was legitimately trying to find the video, because what she claims the answer was that I had stated versus what she had stated, my answer had come true. Now, this conversation on this timeline did not happen. And back then I didn't understand what was going on, and I'm about to explain it. That was not her, right? That was not her at all. And Renetta was strong. Renetta did not feel bad for herself. She was not weak. Even if she was going to be punished or targeted, she didn't care. She was going to put the information out because to her it was about the people knowing more than her own safety and needs went first. And I think we all that are empaths and that are service to others, We feel like, you know what, as long as we have like our basic things, it doesn't matter. We're good. We just want to give back to others. That's how we are, right? That's one of our love languages. And sorry with the hands, you guys. I'm directing air traffic control over here. YMCA. Anyways, she and I did not remember the conversation the same. Weeks later, after she had exited, Raw Cloud Law of One, my friend, he came on to the Typical Skeptic podcast to do an interview. I helped facilitate that interview, and I was so graciously invited to participate in interviewing Raw Cloud along with Rob and Amy Loisel. And I asked Raw about this. I said, why did this conversation go down like completely different than what actually happened that I remember? And he goes, you're interdimensional. You guys are on different timelines, fractals in different bodies, and things are going simultaneously at the same time, even though in a linear fashion, we see time unfolding before us like we're young and we get older, et cetera, et cetera. He said, really what's going on is everything's happening at once, and now things are condensing. And so that was my first experience that I can remember, at least for the point of sharing in this talk, where I realized like, this is not my friend, how I remembered her. And that wasn't even my responses. And it's so interesting how you can have like the situation earlier where you were talking about seeing yourself in the hallway, the family all waking up like a breath of mountain fresh air hit you guys. It's so weird how things can bleed through like that, right? I almost think, you know, even though right now it seems there's like a lot of negativity and things can seem scary, I actually have a lot of hope for the future. Because I think this is like the final moments and we're figuring things out. And I think it's humanity that's going to unite. And I think we're going to be our own messiahs, our own saviors, right? Like, I think we're all going to unite. This is my hope. My hope is that we are all having these conversations right now. And this is like a time capsule so that we can find each other and that we can come together. We can take our sovereignty back. We can step into our authority and our power. It is very magical here in this 3D. That's the thing I love about it, is that the things I was sad as a kid being told, you can't move things with your mind. You have a wild imagination. You can't fly like Peter Pan. We can do those things. If you believe it and you're vibrating at the right frequency, you can pull that in and manifest it out of the sphere of availability. So even though things do seem dark and kind of scary right now, and, you know, we have more questions than answers, I do believe that love's going to conquer. I do believe we're going to end up winning. And I think that we're capable of conquering so much with just love and high vibration, as sappy as that sounds. So the last thing I want to talk about, and I know I've kept you guys longer than I was supposed to, so sorry, not sorry, but I love you guys and I can't just get enough of you. I want to talk about some of the positive things we can do to clear ourselves out, to, you know, bring on the best version of ourselves so that we're spiritual warriors and that we're prepared to take on whatever it is in the dream state or here. And I know that you are like an expert with crystals, Kyla. So I was hoping maybe you would talk a little bit about that and take it home for us, girl.
I wouldn't call myself an expert. I'm just learning myself. So that in itself is the greatest gift that you can give to yourself, is keep your mind open and understand, realize that we haven't been told the truth. You haven't been told the truth. You have been held back, like we all have been. I think that's the first step, is to realize like you're not alone. And there are so many there's so many of us that are going through this. And so ask lots of questions. But also the other thing that I've had to do is I've had to let go of everything that I was taught and everything that I was told about myself. So many of us have been abused and gaslit, and our voices have been taken away from us. And you know, like we've been told, like, you know, like the whole thing about reading too much into things. No, you're not. If it's resonating with you, if you see it as a sign or you see symbolism, that is yours, and nobody can take that away from you. So for me, like, and the other thing is, it's not a race. Nobody's better than anybody else. We all have our own things that we've been studying and specializing in. And what we need to do is start comparing notes. Because for me, like, there has been times where I'm like, oh shit, like, I'm staring down the barrel of 50 and I don't know half of what so and so knows. We'll use our friend Steven from BG Cast as an example. that dude, like, he's like 10, 11 years younger than we are, and I wish I knew half of what he knows.
We're only
And-
25, girl.
But there's the other part, though. Okay, so while he was out gaining that knowledge, me personally, and I know this applies to everybody, so I invite you to take a look at what you've been doing, because I can guarantee you've been doing important stuff. You just don't realize how important it is until somebody points it out to you. Okay, no, I wasn't. I kind of was on this esoteric journey. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I've been sniffing around. I joke around about how I've had the slowest awakening ever. In the meantime, I was out learning about the fiber world. I was learning how to spin. I was learning how to knit, crochet, weave, dye,
So
sew, all of these basic things, because you know, like, if the timeline pushes, if we get impacted by the timeline they want, this is the stuff. Well, even if we're not, this is the stuff that we need to know. These basic, like, yes, you need to know the esoteric things. You need to know about natural law. You need to know about all of this. And if things were the way that they were supposed to be, we would have been doing this, like the whole thing, you know, like about like the saying about it takes a village to raise a child. It is so true. And that's one of the things that they've attacked. So we all have, like when you start going on this journey, for me, I'm like looking around, it's like, holy shit, I've got all of these gaps. It's like, no, I don't have gaps. It was stuff where we've been distracted, we've been sidetracked. Everything, if you think about the whole thing, like you think about Donkey Kong, you know, like how he's just trying to get past, and they're like throwing barrels at him like all the time, and you're like, you gotta fight this barrel, and so you only have so much time and energy in this space to specialize in small areas. And so this is the part, again, where we're a threat to them, because now we're coming together and putting our knowledge together. So, you know, like you're doing, like, just as an example, like with us, okay, so you're doing your deep dives on symbolism. This is stuff that's fascinating, and I would have done myself, but because I'm fighting all these barrels, I fucking can't. There's just no way. Like, that's where the podcasts have been so helpful, and audiobooks have been helpful, because I'm sitting there at my sewing machine learning all of this stuff. And so this is the part, like, we're at the time now where we compare notes. So, like, you're specializing in the symbolism and all the stuff that you do, and I can fill in the gaps that you haven't had a chance to study. So anything that you want to know about basic sewing, if you want to know about spinning, like textiles and all that shit, I'm your gal. And you know, like ideally, you know, like, there's going to come a point where we're all going to be able to come together and put all of this information together and build our physical community. Like, right now we're at the beginning, and, you know, like take a look at Don and like what he's bringing. You know, we've got Jay with his qigong. Like, you know, like, he's teaching us how to ground, and he's teaching us about the elements. Like, you know, like we've We've got Stephen who's teaching us about natural law and hermeticism and all this stuff. We've got Rob who's overdoing the deep dives on disclosure. You know, like we've got our Bigfoot people, we've got our paranormal people. And I appreciate, you know, like in regards to like you thinking that I know about crystals, I'm just learning about it. And so like, you know, like I'm calling the crystal people out here, you know, like I learned Reiki, and I'm still learning about that. But as I learn about that, that's something that I bring to the table. We all bring stuff to the table, and it's time to compare notes. If you think that you're lacking and you're missing something, yes, you have, but that was by design. But now you have a community, everybody that's listening. You now have even more resources because Dawn and I have introduced ourselves now. Hi, Michelle's friends. We're here too.
We're all a family here. I say family. So I own this
Yeah.
many crystals. I know how to spell crystal. You sent me those pictures of when you were doing your booth at the flea market. And so that's why I feel like you're an
Amethyst.
expert on crystals. But you do own crystals,
Amethyst,
right?
one of your best friends, and then like these are the basics. Amethyst and quartz. Like just start from the very beginning. No, I'm starting to think maybe I do know more than I do, because oh, this is drawing a blank, but this is a protection stone. So no, you're right. It's one of those things. Oh, and yeah, Maya Starfire, you are a resource. Obviously, this is awesome. Thank you. Yeah, this is exactly what we need to know. So I am definitely not an expert, but I also have books. Like that's the other thing that I'm gonna tell everybody. Start checking your closets, check your bookshelves, because I can promise you that you have acquired stuff along the way that you don't know why you grabbed it. It's just sitting there waiting for you to be like, oh, that's something that I've noticed that's happened for me, is that it's almost like
We're supposed to clean the closet out today and yesterday. We haven't gotten to it.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well,
No,
it's timing, my friend. Like, what awesomeness have you squirreled away with?
Shoes. They're my friends. I have shirts from high school, and I don't care if they have holes in them. I can't replace them. They're emotional support shirts, okay? No, but really,
okay,
though,
so
I do want to ask a question. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to speak over you.
No, I was gonna side squirrel for a minute. I'll validate you there, Michelle, because I still have T-shirts from my New Kids on the Block phase when I was like 13, like circa 1990. So he can't even. So I got your back there, girl.
This is seen the 90s. This is seen the 80s. I've had my 25th birthday anniversary 15 times. Anyways, though, no, I do want to say something that I was told, because I am totally new to crystals. I know nothing about crystals. I know nothing, Jon Snow. I was told that if you don't have a lot to invest in crystals, one of the best things you can get for about $2 to $3 on Amazon is a rainbow quartz. And that is like a one-stop shop. You can get one that's this big. My friend actually told me to lay down vertically. I don't know how to lay in their way then like that. And she told me to like put it on my throat chakra so that it could help like clear the energy out. Now, my throat chakra, I believe, is doing better, at least today. I've been grounding and trying to clear the energy. And I really thought there was something really special or difficult to clearing energy. And what I've learned is that you just visualize it the way that works best for you. And what I do is I imagine myself like a pitcher of water just draining from head to foot, right? And I actually will go like this, Flappy Bird, right? Like I'll go like this and I feel like it is draining out through like my feet. And during the day when I start getting overwhelmed or things start getting intense, I'll do that, or at least I try to do that. You were talking about Jay and the Qigong, and the last video I watched was like his sword fingers. So I started thinking about like Edward Scissorhands, like with the sword fingers. So just a squirrel thought there, but you're right. We do all have pieces that we're bringing together, and that's my contribution about crystals. And my friend Anchor Haven's going to be coming on, and she is a true like encyclopedia of crystals. She walks the walk, talks the talk, and she names them all. She has names for all her crystals. So do you think though, with the crystals, just your opinion, that helps you with like almost like protecting yourself, that they hold some kind of power or energy or knowledge?
Absolutely. Crystals and color as well. Like, I'm getting like complete mind wipes right now. And I think that's by design, but I've got, I can't, obsidian. This is obsidian. And I've been wearing it because things have bumped up at work, and I'm not playing games. The organite pyramid that I have at work, I can't. There's a green crystal that's embedded in it.
Emerald?
And then
is it emerald? If anyone knows in the chat, put it in the chat. The green crystal. Read her mind.
It's not emerald, but I've got the name of it somewhere, but and it's a heart chakra pyramid. That's why I took it in, because I want, and then I also have an organite angel that has turquoise. And then even rocks. Now I got in shit for this, but I'm going with this. I was told that taking a rock is taking a piece of Mother Earth without asking. And it's like, okay, my intention for taking
from the beach.
My intention for
taking. Did you hear this? For taking.
What's that?
Where did you hear that at? Taking a rock without permissions, like stealing from Mother Nature.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name names, but it just kind of, it also kind of shook up my perception of things.
I thought it was like something you overheard like in a podcast. I'm not trying to put anyone on blast. That wasn't my intention. I just was like, wow.
Oh, and so I went with my heart. Like, that was the whole purpose of having these rocks. So the one rock was from Drumheller, where Dawn and I got married. The other rock was from the Saskatchewan River, from where we went on our honeymoon. And so the whole intention of having these rocks is to carry, like, because both of those places have just absolutely amazing energy. I just wanted a piece of those with me at all times. Like, and I don't see, and you know what, if Mother Earth is angry with me, then I invite her to tell me, and I will return them to where they need to be.
Yeah.
I think that there's a circle of life balance that's supposed to occur, and just like Mother Earth gives to us, we give back, right? Like, it's like a constant recycling of birth, regrowth, death, whatever. I hate to use the word death, honestly, because I kind of feel like maybe we're dead here, and when we exit, that maybe that's really alive, right? Like the light body and the consciousness. Just an opinion. I could be wrong, but I think this planet is meant to give. I think we are meant to be in a state of love and service to others. And Markin made a comment about like positivity and negativity. No one could possibly be 100% positive 100% of the time. We all in the human body I have bad days, just sometimes bad days, sometimes good days, right? And so I appreciate Mark and that statement he made. Sorry, the chat was going so fast, I can't catch it to put on the screen. But while we're all struggling, and we do have our good days and our bad days, I think it's important to remember that and to have some grace with ourselves. And on behalf of Mother Earth, I forgive anybody who took seashells home from the beach without asking, or any crystals. I always say it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Well, and my intention with having those rocks there was to take me back to those places, and to take me back to that energy, because when I hold the rock from Drumheller, I go right back to like there is something magical about Drumheller. I like it like I can't put it into words. So when I hold that rock, like my heart goes right there. When I hold the rock from the Saskatchewan River, I go right back to the riverside where I had my toes in the water during one of the happiest times of my life, because I'm there with my husband. I'm beside running water. I'm in this beautiful place. And when I hold that rock, that's where I go.
I'm a Pisces. I love the water too. I miss the ocean.
You're a
So
fourther.
I do want to say I'm sorry, but not sorry that I kept you guys as long as I did. You're welcome to keep, if we want to keep talking, I could talk to you guys all night, but I do just want to be respectful of the fact that I know that you're going to have to go to work. She works an incredibly late shift, you guys. She goes to work after the sun's gone down. She comes home before the sun's come up, but she's a hardworking woman. I've watched her work. She can do the spinning and the wheel and the sewing machine while holding the conversation at the same time. No, but really though, is there anything else that you guys want to throw into this? Because I feel like this has been a really amazing conversation. I don't think it could have gone any better than this.
I do have some closing things that I do want to share, and they're just basic. I don't have a belief system, and I'm going to plagiarize Chris Matthew heavily on this. I have a current understanding of how I think things work, right? I don't have a belief system because beliefs become dogmatic, and dogmatic is a bad idea, right? But the best advice I could probably give to anybody listening is take care of your health. A healthy body is a connected body. And as these ladies have said several times tonight, grounding is essential. Touch the earth, touch a tree, connect to the energies that surround you. This is incredibly counterintuitive for a podcaster to say, but reduce your screen time. That's why I end my show with, if you can, please go outside, because it's a lot better than sitting in front of this screen, because this is terrible for you, right? And the last but not least, observe and embrace the everyday miracles and welcome more, because that is the baseline of our creative abilities in this reality. If you're seeing where the universe is giving you positive things, observe and embrace the positive and tell the universe that you are welcoming more, and it will come, right? It's how the energy relationship flow with this reality works. You just have to get into synchronicity with the emotional frequency that you want to resonate, right? That is the secret that they do not teach you in The Secret. Right there.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
That's a whole other show.
Club.
Oh, she just put it, that opened the floodgates. That'll be part duh. We'll come back for part 2 and we'll do that, Kyla, because Kyla's going to come back again. We're never going to stop, hopefully, doing shows. I love all the people in this community. And if anybody wants to come and do a show and you have an idea or something that sparked you from this show today, just, drop me a comment or get in touch with me and we can talk about that. Where can everybody find you?
I am on my own. I'm on my YouTube at March 4th, or Don Rogers at March 4th Productions, on Rumble at March 4th Productions, and on all audio podcast platforms under the Forbidden Knowledge Network. And yeah.
I'm here and there on Facebook. As Michelle knows, I just kind of pop on because I've been really busy. Things are starting to take off for me with my fiber gig. I've been doing a farmer's market, and working on getting some of my work into brick and mortar. There was a consignment shop that had approached me, so I've been working on things for that. So you can find me on Facebook, Kyla Spinja Rogers. You can also find my fiber page. It's called Keep Me in Stitches, and the stitches has a Z on the end of it. So I've been sharing some of my projects, some of the farmers market updates, but I'm also going to be leaning towards sharing the recipes that I've been using, because like we were talking about Dawn's gallbladder and like our shift into healthier eating. And so I've been doing a lot of different things. Like I've been having fun with sourdough and things like that. So I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start sharing my sourdough adventures on there as well, because I mean, like let's face it, like with the economy and stuff, like like if people want to buy my stuff, that's awesome. But if somebody wants to take the time to go to my page, I want you to get some value out of it, other than like, oh, look at the pretty yarny stuff that I might not have it in my budget. So like I just had a ginger ale fail, so I'm going to share that, because like I'm going to share the experiences, what to do, what not to do. And so anyway, yeah, come find me on Keep Me in Stitches.
Oh, all of her past episodes on surviving with Spinja are actually on FKN as well, under my heading.
Yeah, I do.
Do you want to tell everybody about that too? Your beanie? It's for a good cause, okay?
Well, and I don't really have a particular cause. Just if you or somebody is going through some health issues, and and we'll say particularly cancer, and you need like a comfortable beanie or whatever, like reach out to me. I wasn't planning. I only shared this with those that are really close to me, but there was a lady that approached me at the market. She had been looking, like she had been looking for beanies because she's going through chemo, and so I custom I made a custom beanie for her, just and like she had every intention on paying me for it, and it's like, no, because you know what, my mom went down that road, and I'm just gonna say the Canadian Cancer Society didn't do anything for her. They did initially. She got some rides, and then they started changing their policies, where like it used to be completely free. Like not free, like don't like through the donations, the patients wouldn't have to pay anything. Well, I haven't checked into it lately, but just before she passed away, they started charging some sort of like registration administration fee, which is absolutely fucking criminal. So this is why I'm not affiliated with an organization, because this one, like we were out, we did Relay for Life. We were out raising money, and they were claiming that it was staying in our community, which was absolute bullshit. The community that I was in at the time, it's about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive from Toronto, which is where a lot of the surgeries and treatments happen. And so cancer patients are absolutely reliant on it. And so we're out there busting our asses to bring in this money so that they don't have to expend anything else, because it's already a huge financial hit to them to begin with. And so anyway, that's why I do it. It's a solo mission. It's basically like if you or anybody else that needs something, reach out to me, and we'll work together to see what we can come up with.
I think service to others is a good cause. So I love you guys so much. We know where to find you at. Dawn and I've got our March 4th kickoff going for our next level conversations. And I just want to say thank you so much, you guys. Like, I appreciate you. You're one of my favorite parts of my life. This has been an amazing road that we've gotten on, and I'm hoping for many, many adventures to come. And I really do believe that it's the community, right, that makes it all for us, is being able to come together and have these conversations They're little time capsules. And so I'm just trying to hold it together and not cry anymore because I'm going to look like the Hamburglar by the time the morning comes. But I just want to say thank you and I love you all. And I'm just appreciative and grateful that you were here today for this. So, Senor Don,
one more before go check out the interview that me and Michelle just did with Brad Olson. That was so damn good. Even Billy Carson checked it out.
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I just found this out right before we went live. So I was like totally scattered, losing my ish. And then he drops that on me. So it was like adrenaline dump. And I'm like, holy cow, I don't care if it was Barney the dinosaur that saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, somebody watched this. Like, it was a little frustrating because all three of us were having issues with internet. And poor Brad, like, man, he got kicked off so many times. I just had to take my socks off to start counting. And he was really like just gracious about it. He was just cool. He was really cool about it. It was an amazing conversation. And it was one of my things on my bucket list to be able to talk to Brad Olson. So like, I don't know, Don's like the love potion number 9, or like, he's like the whisperer, right? Like he can get you to say yes. So Don made that happen for me. I feel like I a little fangirled out there because I just couldn't believe that we were having that conversation, but it was amazing. And I'm hoping that we'll get to actually reschedule that without one of us having a major storm while it goes on. It's like washing your car and it rains. Yeah. We hold a podcast and major weather shows up. So that's all I got to say about that. Cactus.
That's
sign language. Yeah. It's cactus in sign language. Okay. Anyways, you guys, thank you for being here. Deuces. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Have a good night.